Hello WordPress nerds. So in this video we are going to talk about creating a login form and accepting the inputs from the form. So if you are new to this video, I would suggest you start watching this playlist from the beginning so that you know what we are doing. Otherwise continue watching this video. So by the end of this video you will be able to create this login page and start accepting the input from the login page, and you will be also able to validate the form. So for example, if you don't put any text inside the input field, it will display this kind of message, and if you write, message will be gone, and then you will be able to accept this input. So this is the only thing we are going to do in this video, and in the next video we will be doing actual login process. So let's begin. So let's begin adding login form and handle it. So this is the repo in which we are working. So I'm going to open the terminal and let's start the server. npm run dev. So server has been started. So let's refresh the page. So this is the development environment, so it will be little slow. So now let's start. First thing is add login link and create login page. So I'm gonna open components header.js, and in that I will add login link, and once we add this in the page, I will add login.js, and I will do export default function, and I will say it login, and I will import layout from. First let me return and use layout layout tags. So in this wrapper we have added header and footer. So now I will import layout from components layout. So I have added this layout component in the components folder, and after adding this, let's see what we get. So login page is here. Let's click on that, and here we have header and footer set. So first step is done. Now another one is the add login form from tail blocks. So I'm gonna open tail blocks. First thing I will do the night mode, and I will use this template. This is near to login, so this will be a username password. We will get rid of this field, and we will get rid of this map thing. So let's view code, copy to clipboard, and we will convert HTML to JSX. Copy this, paste it between our layout tag. Let's rearrange. and let's see what we get. Let me close this, and we have our form and page. So let's get rid of this whole section first. So I think it is, and it is an iframe. Here is the feedback. So I think this is it. Okay, it's gone. Now let's remove this. Then we will remove this text. So let's remove that. We will call it login. Okay, let's remove this field as well, so we don't need that. So I will remove that, and we have our login form. So let's change the name. So first will be user name. Let's add ID and name, and this will be our password. So type will be password, and name will be password as well. So our login form is ready. So I'm not focusing on the design at the moment. I will focus on the functionality. So that's it. So we have added login form from tailblocks. Now we have to install a formik package. So what is formik? Formik is a library from React for handling the forms. So we will be handling form submission using formik library. So for that we have to use this function first. We have to install this package. So I'm gonna stop the server and I will install this package. I will get rid of this sidebar. Now we don't need anything. Everything we will be doing inside this login.js. So package is installed. Once the package is installed, we can use form tag to wrap our two fields. So I'm gonna use this form tag, and let's close it after this button, and let's again rearrange the form. So nothing will be changed in terms of output. So form is added. So once we install formik, to use formik, first we have to import the formik component or package. We will be using this use formik hook. So what is that? I'm gonna show you in a bit. First let's add the formik here, and let's tell the form that on submit we will be using formix handle submit function. So in the form tag, here in the form tag we have to use this on submit formik dot handle submit. So what is handle submit? It is the formix inbuilt functionality functions. So it handles automatically in the background whatever we whenever we submit the form. So it handles the form submit. Now we have to use this um, use formik hook for form handling. By adding this line, we add form that use formik to handle form submission, and now using use formik we will give some instruction to formik to handle the form. So let's call it const formik equal to use formik, and it will be an object. So in this object, first parameter will be initial values. As the name suggests, we can define the initial values for the form. Initial values, and make sure you give the name same as the name we gave for the text field or password field. So for username it is username, and I'm gonna set the blank value for the beginning. Same for the password. So password field name is password, so it's same. So now we have defined the initial value. Let's see what happens. Let's try to give the initial value something, and let's see what happens. Let's refresh the page. Oops, sorry, we forgot to start the server, so let's npm run dev. Sorry about that, guys. So server has been started. So initial value is not. Let's try to add. Okay, it won't affect the initial value. I'll tell you why in a bit. Because there is no value attribute given over here, so that we will be given in the give in a few minutes. So I'm gonna get rid of this. So initial value is done. Now another thing is on submit. So what you want to do on submit? On submit we get data, form data in this variable data, and whatever we want to do inside this function. As of now I'm gonna do console.log and data. Now let's refresh the page, open the console and submit login. So we are getting blank. Let's try to add something and submit. Still we are getting blank because we are not handling the field value at the moment. We are just handling the form submit. So now it's time to handle form fields. So for that we have to use this event on change for field. So I'm gonna use for username on change formik dot on change. So sorry, handle change, not on change. So this is the formik's default handle change function. So it will handle on change by default using use formik or formik package. Similarly, for on change, we will add for the password field as well. So this is for on change. Now we have to set the value as well. So for that we can use value attribute, and for value all the value will be formik dot values dot whatever the name we gave over here will be like this. So this is all from the formik. We just need to pass based on our requirement. So this is done. So now we are handling the form fields as well. We are handling the change event of the form field, and we are also setting the value. Now let's try to refresh the page again. Let's submit. So blank. Let's add something. So now we are getting data of this form. So now this is done. We are now doing form handling. So form handling is done. Now it's time to validate the form, because let me show you one thing. So even if we are submit form without adding any value, it is still submitting the form. So that is unnecessary. So we want to prevent this thing. We want to validate that this is the required field, or you have to add something. So for that we have to install yup. So why we are installing yup? So let's go to formix documentation, and in the formik documentation I'm going to validation, and they are also suggesting to use yup. So yup is again a library which does the validation part easily, and it is compatible with formik. So let's install the yup. So I'm gonna install yup now. So let's stop the server, install the yup. So yup is installed. Now we have to import yup. So let's import yup. So import star as yup from yup, because we want to use everything for the yup. So that's that. Now let's start the server again, and npm run dev. Now let's go to this documentation. So it is saying that when we use yup, we can use this validation schema in the formik object. Then we can match the values using values and touch. What is this? I'll show you in a bit. So let's add validation schema over here. So let me close the header.js as well. So now we have to use validation schema, and it is an object. So for that let's yup then yeah, yep, object, and here also we have to use the same names. So for example, we want to make username and password a required field. So for that we can use this yup string required. So when we use this, it should be the string, and this is the required field, and we are adding message. So if anybody don't add any value to this field, it will display this message. Same for the password. So I'm gonna add only these two validations. So one is it should be string, and another one is this required. Now let's see what happens after adding this. So let's refresh this, and if I click over here, so we are getting nothing. But so this formik object, sorry, let me console or log this formik object. So as you can see, we are getting something over here, and here is the object we need. So values are blank over here at the moment. Errors, if we can see, errors is this: please add password and please add username, which is we defined over here because it is required field and we haven't added any value, so we are getting errors. So as per this validation schema, we can use this value and touched attribute from the object. So I'm gonna show you that. So as you can see, values are blank at the moment, and here also touched, password and username. So what does it mean by touch? Touch means if we go over here and do any, I mean it is anything we touch, that is touched. So now if we try to check the values over here, we get the value like this. So this is how we can do validation. Now let's display the message below this field, that this field is required or something. Okay, we will display this message itself. So now, so sorry, we will again use this console for this. I'm gonna remove this. Let's submit this, and so we have this errors over here. So we will use these errors. So at here, right below this field, I will check if formik dot errors dot username. and formik. We will be using touched attribute because it is recommend that we can use the touched for the validation. So if touched, username true. So formik touched dot username, then print this message. So error we will be getting inside errors. So yeah, we can use this directly. And ternary operation, let's add null. Now let's see what happens. Let's refresh this. Okay, we are not getting any error, but we should be getting error. So formik dot errors, username, and formik dot touched username. Okay, here I forgot username. Now okay, it's added now. So let's refresh the page again. If I click login, it is displaying add username. As soon as I start adding anything, it will remove. So let's do the same for the password. So I'm gonna copy this. I will put below the password field and I will change the variable. So as you can see, now it started displaying for both. Now let's add the validation into the red or any noticeable format. So as we are using tailwind, so tailwind error messages, I'm going to tailwinds documentation. I will go to forms and I will try to display this stuff like this. So let's see how it does. Please choose password. So yeah, I'm gonna add this p tag for this over here. So instead of div, I'm gonna use p tag. Similarly for this, now let's go to form. Let's hit login. So as you can see, we have this over here, and now we will be able to catch the data into the submit to. So this is the catch data into one submit method over here, and I will get rid of this. So this is it for this video. This is how you can add form and handling the form using formik and yep. I will provide this link inside into the description section. If you have any doubt or question, please write down below in the comment section. Thank you.